Hello and welcome to Barry's Economics Budget Special. Today I'm going to be talking about the bias in the UK budget, the thing that you don't want to see. The UK budget is not a plan, it's a ritual. Because every year Britain gathers around the TV to watch a ceremony so old, so theatrical, it feels less like economic policy and more like a pantomime. The Red Briefcase held aloft, the slow, solemn walk down Downing Street, posing for photos like she's carrying the Olympic torch, if the Olympic torch contained a spreadsheet and a prayer. Then the House of Commons erupts in the usual shouting match.
This is not the first time that it has fallen to the Labour Party to rebuild Britain.
The newspapers start printing winners and losers and graphics like the Champions League final. And we all pretend this is how a modern economy should run. But the budget isn't economics. The budget is mostly ritual. Because even if you just look at the props, the red box, it was designed in the 1860s. It's literally a Victorian lunchbox. The Commons chamber, which was built for 408 MPs, even though we now have 650, is intentionally cramped to manufacture conflict. And the phrases never change. I commend this budget to the House, spoken as if the nation is being blessed by a high priest. And this isn't policy, it's performance. It's cosplay with national interest rates. And performance triggers our biases. It's about bias again. If something looks old, we think it's wise, which is authority bias. If something is familiar, we think it works, status quo bias. If numbers are read out in a serious voice at a wooden dispatch box, they must matter, which is anchoring. But none of this tells us anything about the real economy, because while the ceremony is Victorian, the systems underneath it are 19th century. We still judge our national well-being using GDP, gross domestic product, a measure invented in the 1930s for a wartime industrial economy that no longer exists. GDP goes up if a billionaire sells a fifth house. GDP goes up if there's a pollution disaster, or if companies spend billions cleaning up the problems that they caused from that pollution. GDP goes up even if ordinary people get poorer. GDP is outdated. Gross domestic product is literally gross. I mean, it's so out of date. I always think of this stat which makes it so clear, is if you've got a football stadium filled with human beings and their average income is, say, £25,000 a year of all the people in that stadium. If one billionaire walks into that stadium, the average income goes up by £1 million each. That's GDP. It looks like everyone's suddenly a millionaire. The economy's doing great, but no, that's not the fact. It's madness, and it's the holy Bible of economics. It's what the whole budget is based around. The way that we assess the economy is outdated. And the budget, instead of updating the tools, they just update the theatre. Meanwhile, like the media reports winners and losers like it's a sporting event, and you're told you're £37 better off. So you feel like something has changed, but nothing structural changes. Housing stays unaffordable. Asset inflation keeps widening the gap. Wealth inequality deepens. Like for decades, our politicians said, just grow the economy. Growth will fix inequality. Well, we had 40 years of growth, right up until the end of the 2000s, and it didn't fix it. If it would have fixed it, it would have fixed it by then, surely. Instead, inequality has worsened, then worsened again. And now, in a world of low growth, stagnant wages, asset-driven wealth, and genuine economic strain, we're told that growth, the thing that didn't work when we had loads of it, is going to, now that we barely have any of it, is going to be our mantra that we're going to live by. It won't, it can't. And the reassuring budget ceremony makes sure we don't notice, because this is the real purpose of the budget, not to transform the economy, but to give us the illusion of change and progress. It directs us towards the ritual and away from the structure. It says, look at this tax tweak, not the billionaire's £120 million rise in the worth of their assets. Don't look at that. Look at this shiny briefcase. Ooh, not the Victorian metrics that pretend that we're doing better than we are. Don't look at them. Of course, we all know that the economics that we need are the ones that measure well-being, distribution, security, actual human lives. But those aren't Victorian. Those are ones that we can measure now, but we couldn't then. But nobody's changing the system. So this year, when the Chancellor lifts the box and the cameras flash and the headlines scream, remember, you're not watching an economic plan. You're watching a ritual, a ceremony designed to reassure you the system still works, while at the same time ensuring it never has to.